If the story is not true, we need to fact check Kim.com. If the story is true, it will have a profound effect on the current state of politics and foreign policy. It's been a calm past couple days. I'm still in New York, and because the next trip that I'm planning on doing requires a lot of planning, I'm sort of stuck in New York. So I will do my best to try and, I don't know, make something more substantive. But currently, it's raining, so I'm stuck inside, and it's not all bad. What I want to focus on today is still the Seth Rich case, right? So this is video number 2. And the reason I'm doing this is because tomorrow it is expected that Kim.com will publish something to the effect of Seth Rich's involvement in WikiLeaks. It may very well be simply a statement from Kim saying that he was witness or communicated with Seth, but many people believe there may be something more. Personally, I think we're just going to see a statement. But where we're at so far, earlier today, Julian Assange tweeted that WikiLeaks will never reveal their sources. Sources may communicate with other people, but WikiLeaks will never be the official source of revealing their source. Now, a ton of people quickly took this to mean that Julian Assange is once again hinting that Seth Rich is in fact the source, especially considering he used hashtag SethRich in his tweet. But what I want to say is that this it's quite the opposite. It's actually a statement from WikiLeaks saying that they take no part in the revelation of who their sources are. That may be the case, it may not be the case, but why is Julian Assange talking about it? Well, before I get into that, I just want to bring up that not too long ago, or I should say recently, Roger Stone commented about having back-channel communications with WikiLeaks, to which WikiLeaks refuted that through a spokesperson. This has led many people to say, if Julian Assange will disavow communication with Roger Stone, why won't he disavow communication with Kim.com or what Kim.com is saying? And that is interesting, but let's not get too ahead of ourselves. It is interesting, and that's where we are so far. I can't stress this enough. With the Russia conspiracies and the Seth Rich conspiracy, I am advising everybody, just chill out. If you have criticism over the Seth Rich conspiracy, then I ask you to calm down over the Russia conspiracy, and vice versa. If you have criticism over the Russia conspiracies, then you too should chill out a little bit on the Seth Rich conspiracy. One thing that I want to make absolutely clear, and I said this in the other video, but I'll say it again, even if Kim.com does in fact reveal information, some kind of evidence that shows Seth Rich was involved with WikiLeaks, it in no way proves a conspiracy to have Seth Rich murdered. One of the biggest challenges with almost every conspiracy is there tends to be a grandiose leap from something that might be true to something that people assume is true and is very, very far disconnected. Julian Assange has made several hints over the past several months, or I shouldn't call them hints. Julian Assange has made several statements over the past several months that many people believe were made to imply or hint that Seth Rich was in fact the WikiLeaks source. Julian Assange started the conspiracy, for the most part, when he gave an interview and brought up Seth Rich's murder. WikiLeaks offered a $20,000 reward for information about the murder of Seth Rich, and even today has not refuted communications with Kim.com or denied anything about Seth Rich. Now, simply because WikiLeaks is doing this does not mean that any of it's true. I want to remind everybody that one of their goals is to maximize the impact of what they do, of their leaks. And so I'll be honest, I don't mean to disparage Julian Assange, but I wouldn't put it past him to say, hey, if people want to believe this and it generates buzz and gets a lot of people talking, then, hey, it is what it is. I will add, I'm just being a little pragmatic. I tend to trust WikiLeaks more than I distrust them. And for that matter, we don't want to fall into the trap of assumptive reasoning. And that's where, simply because Julian Assange is tweeting these things, we're making the assumptions that he's speaking about something else. Let's take Julian Assange's statements at face value for what it is and not go overboard with it. Now, the other thing that I want to address is the politicking. I've got people saying, Tim, you're playing into an alt-right conspiracy and you need to stop. Think of the family and what they want. And let me say this. The Russia conspiracy, the Seth Rich conspiracy holds the same weight in my opinion. People making exaggerated claims. My God, Luis Mensch going on and on and on about how friends of mine are Russian agents sent to destabilize the European Union or some other nonsense, or get Trump elected or some other nonsense. And then I have people saying flat out that we know for a fact that Seth Rich was murdered for being the WikiLeaks source. We have not confirmed that Seth Rich is a source to WikiLeaks. We have not confirmed why he was murdered. Now, to the people who are tweeting at me about the Rich family and their desires, here's what I want to say. Kim.com is a very well-known figure with hundreds of thousands of followers, and he made a statement that Seth Rich was involved in WikiLeaks. It would be irresponsible of me as a journalist to ignore the statement from somebody, anybody, who is making the claim. Now, look, if an average person that, no one knew who they weren't a public figure, made a statement, it would still be my responsibility as a journalist to do a Google search. Who is this person? Is there any merit to this? At least give it 5-10 minutes. Kim.com, on the other hand, is a very well-known figure with hundreds of thousands of followers, and we need to take this seriously for one reason. If the story is not true, we need to fact-check Kim.com. If the story is true, it will have a profound effect on the current state of politics and foreign policy. Right now, there is the general belief that Russia hacked the DNC. But if it does come out, if Kim.com does provide proof, actual hard evidence, that would disrupt the whole Russia narrative. I am a journalist. I understand the family is grieving and that this is probably nightmarish for them. I wouldn't wish something like this on my worst enemies. But the impact that this could have on the international community, on our government, on our world, is extremely important, and it would be irresponsible of any journalist to stop investigating a story simply because someone or a family member is upset about it. Sometimes the world just sucks. Now, let me end by saying this. I am not convinced. Even if Seth Rich, I said this a million times, even if Seth Rich was the source, it does not prove that he was taken out, that he was murdered for it. You've got to realize that sometimes people get murdered. Like, it sucks. I'm from Chicago. You hear stories and just some kids get killed and there's no reason for it. Violence sucks. It happens. Now, I'm not going to sit here and weigh the probabilities of what is likely and what isn't, because I know a lot of people are hell-bent on this conspiracy being true. They really do believe it, and a lot of people think it's absolutely insane. But personally, I am not there, and I want to again advise everyone to just slow roll it. Take a step back. We'll see what happens. But I will say to everyone to be cautious. While I did tweet out that based on my past interviews with Kim.com and what I know about him, I am more inclined to believe him than distrust him, that still doesn't mean I have resigned myself to the fact that he's going to come out with this grandiose revelation. Lastly, the final thought is I just want to keep the conversation going. I don't want to walk away from this because tomorrow is going to be the big story, and let's just keep this fresh in our minds. So tomorrow, I'm going to be sitting at my computer ever so vigilantly, waiting to find out what, if anything, happens, and then make a video about it for you. So if you like the videos, click the like button, comment below, and let me know what you think. Subscribe for more videos like this, and tomorrow at 6 p.m. expect an update from me on what may be something or maybe nothing. I'll see you then.